Hello and welcome to another edition of the Dave Experience. This is How to Argue with a Woman, Part 6. This is the most important piece of psychological information that I've ever come across. It's called the emotional tone scale. As you can see, there's many different versions of it. The full therapeutic tone scale has about 80 levels, 40 above death and 40 below death. And how can you get below death? Well, your body can't, but psychologically you certainly can. But for purposes of illustration, we're going to use this scale right here by Ruth Minshall. Some people have a chronic tone, but it's very common for tone to change over time. Now, you don't need to memorize this scale. It's easy enough. Whatever tone somebody is at, you have to match that tone or go lower. If they are at anger at 1.5 and you respond with boredom, communication simply fails. You ever talk to somebody and it's like talking to a wall and you just can't get through to them? And then you yell at them and all of a sudden they're all right. That's what's happening. You're on a different scale, a different tone than them. Now, my friend asked me a long time ago, because I was explaining this to him. He said, "Well, my girlfriend yells at me. My girlfriend yells at me. When her tone is anger, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to scream at her?" And I said, "That's a valid point. Let me think about that." So I got back to him a day later, and I said, "What is it that she's angry about?" And he said it was because he worked so much and didn't get to see her very often. So I said, "Okay, the next time she yells that, I don't get to see you that often, I want you to yell back and say, 'Well, I hate it that I have to work so much and I have to be away from you all the time.'" And he said, "All right, that might work." I got a phone call Saturday early evening, whispering. It was an echoing whisper. He said, "I'm in the bathroom. I did what you said." She yelled, and I yelled that thing back at her, and her eyes widened. I thought she was going to hit me. Instead, she came up. One hand went to the back of my head. The other hand went to my butt, and she stuck her tongue down my mouth. We've been having sex all day. So that's how you do it. It has to be that tone or lower. If you go higher, they're simply going to be unable to grasp what's happening. Now, it has been found in therapy that somebody will move through the tone scale, sometimes skipping levels. This is an abbreviated list, but even the professionals don't always use the 80 the 80 levels on the complete tone scale. And the way it's most easily explained is this: that there is a boy skipping down the street. He's at level 4. He's at enthusiasm. He turns a corner in a residential area, and down at the other end of the block, he sees a dog. It's a wild dog. It's all disheveled and filthy. He sees it and says, "A doggy." Now, this dog is trouble. It's hostile. But the little boy doesn't know that yet. So the boy is still skipping along, and the doggy starts to speed up. Starts coming for the boy. And the boy, the dog is still far away. He's not much of a threat. But now the boy has already come down to interest. "Hello, doggy. Why are you here?" And the dog leans forward as he's coming towards the boy. He's going to get him. And now the boy has dropped down to conservatism. And excuse me. Now he's like, "Yeah, it's a dog, whatever. I've seen him before." And now the dog is running toward the boy. That dog is going to get him. Now the boy has dropped down to level 2, antagonism. He's lost half his tone in a matter of seconds. And he yells at the dog, You go away. You go away." but the dog doesn't. He keeps coming, and the boy drops down to anger. And he starts yelling at the dog, calling the dog names. Maybe he picks up some rocks or some sticks and throws it at the dog to get the dog to leave. But the dog keeps coming. And the kid drops down to fear, starts to scream, starts to cry, drops down to grief. And there's no way the kid can outrun the dog. There's nowhere to go. There's no open doors. There's no trees to climb up. There's nowhere to hide. And the kid drops down to apathy and death and gets eaten. Not the happiest story, but that's how the tone scale works. And it has been found to be consistent throughout therapy when dealing with a certain issue. People start at a low tone, and when it's resolved, they're up at enthusiasm. But the most important thing to remember from all this is that whatever tone somebody is at, if you want communication to be successful, whether you're having an argument or not, you have to get the correct tone. You have to match their tone. Whatever it is, it has to match that tone or higher. It's a hard thing to remember how to do because you have your own emotional state and they have their own emotional state, and you don't want to change their state, especially if your state is higher and you have to go lower. It's a difficult thing to do and it's a hard thing to remember, but it does work. It does work. So the next time you're having an argument, and there's usually going to be anger, try responding with an angry tone. Not with anger, not with hostility, covert or otherwise, but an angry tone. Say a positive thing, but with an angry tone. You know, you forgot to take out the trash again. Oh, damn it, I did it again. I hate it when I'll go take care of it right now. It pisses me off too, you know, and then just do it. I mean, if that's your responsibility. So, that's it. This has been another edition of the Dave Experience. Your experience may vary.